Dear viewers, welcome to IIFL Markets YouTube channel. I am Shweta Papriwal and today we have Mr. Rakesh Agarwal, CFO, Metropolis Healthcare Limited in our Leaders Speak series. Welcome Mr. Agarwal. It's a pleasure to have you grace our listeners today.
Thank you, Shweta. My pleasure.
So if any industry or sector has been in focus over the last 1 year, it is the healthcare and the diagnostic industry. So let me start with asking you about the effect of pandemic on the company and the overall Indian diagnostic industry. How is the company placed to leverage the emerging health trends of increasing home collections and samples and rising awareness regarding personal health?
Yeah, I think a very good question, Shweta. And obviously, it all started last year in March, when suddenly things came to a standstill. And like all other industry, we are also very worried that how things will move. The first question for us is about the business continuity, how we are going to continue the business, and obviously the safety of the people was very important.
Correct.
And the third piece, how liquidity is something which was very important at that point of time, because we all were thinking about survival, looking at the scenario at that time. And obviously we came together, we discussed amongst ourselves and how should we go about it. The first question we have to answer was that how should we really look at the COVID testing, because at that time it was not looked at commercially, it was looked at the serving the nation, how should we really serve the nation from an overall point of view. So safety of people was a big concern that time. There was so much of fear in people's mind. Today obviously we are coming a long way. Still it's really creating a terror in people's mind, but that time you can imagine how the situation was. And at that time we then came together saying that not only we have to survive, but we have to thrive. We immediately created a plan of starting COVID in our main lab in Bombay, and then we expanded it to many other labs. Today we are doing COVID testing in almost 12 locations.
Right.
So that time it was more about looking at the overall picture of serving the nation. How should we survive ourselves? How will we take care of the employee safety of the employees and all? That was the main questions at that time. We really done well there. And then as the first quarter ended and the second quarter entered, we realized that obviously there is a pandemic, there is a lot of negative things happening around, but we have an opportunity which we can look at. And then we scaled up our COVID testing, and the known COVID also started coming. And fortunately for this industry, things worked up well. And last year, if you look at all years' result and our result, we really have done well. So we have found that this is an opportunity for us, not only to make internal gains, but also to serve the customer, get into the larger society. And as you rightly mentioned, that there are a lot of dynamics which have changed because of this whole scenario. So one thing which has changed is that people's mindset, how they are now looking at the safety, hygiene, all the small things which they are not looking earlier. Now they are very concerned about it. So that I think is something which has changed a lot of dynamics. Home visit, as you rightly mentioned, has something which has changed a lot. If I look back, we have almost doubled our revenue, more than doubled our revenue in home visit. If I compare it with 1920, in 2021. So this becomes first thing is becoming a safety thing, and now it is becoming convenience thing also.
Right.
So I think this is one trend which is going to continue, and we overall are looking very excited about this journey. Last year we did well; the numbers are there to see, and I'm sure that again this coming year with a lot of ifs and buts, plus minuses. Now COVID second wave coming in, and now we are just moving ahead with some sanity, and again people fearing about the third wave. So let's see how it moves. But we are geared up. The situation, whatever it comes, Sweta, we are geared up for that, and we look forward to ensure that whatever way we can do our best, we'll do our best.
राइट सर. सो सर ये पैंडेमिक में ना छोटे छोटे जो नेशनल डायग्नोस्टिक चेन्स हैं वो तो एक्सपैंड हुए हैं, बट स्मॉलर प्लेयर्स हैव आल्सो स्टार्टेड टू कम अप. सो हाउ डू यू थिंक द कंसोलिडेशन ट्रेंड विल प्ले आउट इन द इंडियन डायग्नोस्टिक इंडस्ट्री ओवर द नेक्स्ट डिकेड?
So if you look at how many people have got the COVID testing as an opportunity and approval, so it's a handful. I think it may be around 250, 300 people in the country who has got it. And out of that also more than 50% actually didn't start it because they don't have the ammunition or infrastructure or bandwidth to do that. So if you look at from an overall point of view, yes, the regional people who have got the opportunity for COVID testing also, and they have connected more with the people in this time, has got a good leverage out of this. Obviously, that they have got a bit benefited. But if you look at the small mom and pop labs which were there earlier, which were working, either 100,000 of labs in the country, they were not able to survive at that time. So if
Correct.
you look at not able to do COVID testing, they were not able to really run the business in the given scenario. And many of these labs has been shut down for almost 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, which we have seen in our observation. And somewhere people have also looked into that factor, saying that okay, at this time when we needed them the most and when we're going to them all the time, they're not available. So obviously that has played an important mindset change in the people's mind. So my sense is that yes, this COVID has played a bit of a positive role in some regional players who have done well. If you look at the numbers, but the smaller players are still reeling. Still, they are not coming up to the mark. And from a consolidation point of view, we see a lot of opportunities coming in.
So, sir, why has the consolidation of smaller, unorganized players in the diagnostic industry been slow till date? And what can drive an acceleration in the consolidation intensity going forward?
Sweta, I think if you just look at there have been a lot of 100,000 labs in the country which are being working since a long time, and they are competing with the locally with themselves. There are small players which are present. Obviously, they don't have that kind of governance or safety or hygiene or other factors which are important for people to thrive in this business, but they are actually doing because of all the practices which happen locally. So they keep on doing well, and they keep on surviving because of the cost factor or because of the compliance factor or whatever factor not taken care of. But if there is some regulation which comes in, which there is some framework which comes in, obviously they will find it very difficult to manage things within that. So one is that obviously we have not seen that kind of a shift or change where a lot of
Correct.
protocols or these things has come in the industry, and these people keep on continuing with the way they want to. So that is one piece because of which these people continue, and they have a local connect. So they don't have that big dream. They have a local connect. They can survive in that local connect, and they can manage it there. So I think that is how they are being surviving, and they will keep surviving post pandemic. Also, the pandemic has made a bit of a a spoiler for them in between, but I think once this thing settle down, they will keep moving in that direction. But if you look at from a growth point of view, I think the industry is growing at a 8 to 10%, which is very informal. We don't have a very formal data into it. So
Right.
this player are growing in a very less pace, maybe 3-4% down the line, and then the top player who are organized or regional player who are moving in a 10, 12, 14% kind of the growth which we have seen in the past. So this is something which will keep happening. There was this gradual shift which was happening from unorganized to organized every year. I think this shift will, as we feel, that shift will bit fasten because of the whole situation which has happened during COVID pandemic. So this is going to fasten up a bit in the coming time, which we feel. But we have to wait and watch how it goes. But obviously, to answer your questions, whether I think this labs will still keep surviving and thriving till the time we really have some level playing things with them.
Correct. So how does Metropolis management evaluate inorganic opportunities, given M&A has been one of the key growth drivers for the company in the past? Would you still be very active on the M&A front post the closure of Hitech acquisition, or the company would look to largely consolidate Hitech over the next 1 year?
So Sweta, I think this is a good question, and obviously Hitech still is on, as we mentioned in last update, that because of the current situation and the seller not well, so we have just postponed it for some time, and we have to get back for some regulatory approval, and it may take 2-3 months time. So we are just working on that. But having said that, we are still open for any good opportunity coming our way, and we are not shying away from that. And as I told earlier also, that we have good opportunities on our table. We are looking at them. We keep evaluating them, and that is our forte. We have done 24 acquisitions in last 20 years, and most of them are successful.
Mm-hmm.
So we keep looking at that opportunity as it comes. We are not shying away from that. Even if Hitech happens and we have to integrate that, there will be a separate team altogether to integrate. We have plans for that, and there is a one specialized team which looks into M&A now. So I think we have come a long way when everything was clubbed together. Now we have a separate team for looking at M&A opportunity, integration and all. So we will keep searching for opportunities, looking for opportunities which suits our bill. Obviously, we'll not go all out for everybody, but we have our parameter, quality parameter, our geography parameter, our mix parameter, revenue mix parameter and all. So we will keep looking for the like-minded people, like-minded opportunities. And that is something which will be there. Yeah.
Correct. So what kind of incremental patient volumes and markets can Metropolis service post its targeted 70% expansion in clinical lab collection center network over the next 3 years? And also, what growth opportunities are you seeing on ground which made the management embark on this organic expansion plan?
So Sweta, I think this organic expansion plan is always a cycle where we keep on looking at different factors. For example, if you look at today, we are serving almost 200 plus cities in the country, and we have a lab at around 100 cities.
Right.
So we are operating another 100 plus cities through our ARC model, where we have a franchisee who collects samples on our behalf, send it to us in the nearest lab, and we then do the testing and give the results. So we have been working in 100 plus cities in this model for last so many years, and now we have come to a situation where we feel that now it can take this whole model to a next level. So now we are going in these cities to go with a lab, and this lab will give us an advantage of looking at the test which requires very faster TAT. For example, most of the routine tests require a lot of faster TAT. Now, because today we didn't have lab on those towns, we are not able to really garner that business to that extent. So with going in these cities, having labs, we'll have B2C presence there now. We'll increase our B2C presence. We'll increase B2C footfall also. And we are very hopeful that this is something which will give us the leap for the next coming 4, 5, 7 years. Because not only building this network in 3 years, but I think nurturing them and then taking it forward. It's a cycle of 6, 7 years when we get the maximum benefit out of it. And by the time we get maximum out of it and we mature in this, we will have another hopefully 100 cities which we can look at and go further into our expansion mode. So that is how we feel this will work out. And obviously we are again looking at organic, inorganic, all kind of things together. We have now team capability, bandwidth to really go all out for everything. So that is how we are looking at it. So organic is something which is absolutely in our forte, saying that we have to go all out. We have done almost 2,500 centers in last 3.5 years, and that has given us a big fillip. And not only this lab expansion we are targeting, we are also targeting almost 2,500 more centers in next 3 years. So that is how we are looking at, and this is really a very, very exciting journey to be. So that we are looking forward to.
Correct. Now coming back to pandemic, sir, how were you able to deal with the pandemic in terms of operations, employees, and huge requirements for testing? Do you think that COVID business in some forms, antibody tests, etc., can sustain into FY23 also?
So, Sweta, I think when we have a saying that when things goes tough, the tough goes going. So that is how we have really looked at it. Last 1.5 years has been very challenging for all of us. In fact, mainly for the front end guys who are logistic guys, lab operation guys, all this fleet guys. It's very, very challenging for them. Very safety concerns that a lot of people has gone into COVID and they have recovered. So what we have done, Sweta, internally is that we have taken care of everything. We have not deducted any salary when there was absolute chaos going on. A lot of people have taken a lot of measures. We have in fact given extras to people. Our MD has given a MD Soria Award last year, where she has donated half of her salary to the frontline people. So I think we have done a lot of those stuffs where we have kept the pace with the people, saying that don't worry, we are with you. I think just least to mention, we have given the transport support to people, saying don't worry, we'll take care of it. A lot of hospital supports to them, a lot of hotel support to them when it was required. We have created a fund internally which we have utilized for any patient which any COVID person becoming COVID in between. So we have taken all this baby steps, small measures to make sure that people feel inclusive. They feel that yes, Metropolis is there with them. And obviously, when time came last year, we increased their salary. We given an increment in October. Again, we are looking the same thing from April again. So I think from an overall point of view, we made sure that we are with people. I think that is the biggest thing which helped us during this
Right.
time. Second is that I think the cross-functional team has worked very well, because at this kind of pandemic, when everything goes for a toss, and you feel that things has to be taken care of, you have to come together. So I think from a lab team point of view, sales team point of view, finance team point of view, everybody has come together in this pandemic, and we have really worked well as a team. So I think that has helped us to sail through. We have putting a COVID facility, within 30 days, 45 days is not that easy. So I think that
Right.
is something which we have done. And I think there was a very lot of planning where we went on, which we anticipated that this COVID rub-off will be a big thing. Let us have the plan for that. COVID will be big thing. Let us have plan for that. We have planned really well on all those things. And I think that has really helped us to ensure that whenever there was a requirement, we didn't, have any shortfall or any gap between that. Regarding your question on COVID rub-off, I think that this is something which is, yes, will be there. It was
Right.
earlier also there. Pre-COVID days also, we used to have this kind of test for various purposes.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, this main focus has come on COVID. Because of COVID, we are having this kind of test, and I think this is going to remain for some time. Now we are seeing a surge of it. It will go down a bit, but it's not going to die down. It's going to be there. This year, I think it will play a bit of a role, and next year again it will become a bit of a routine kind of stuff, where this will one of the tests which we do, but
Right.
nothing where we will mention it separately. But
Right.
but to answer your question, this is going to be there for some time, and then it will become a very routine kind of stuff.
15 years. Yes. So with the second wave of the pandemic, non-COVID testing business has again been partially impacted. How do you see the non-COVID business trajectory over FY 22 and 23?
See, non-COVID business is something which is very, very difficult to predict today, because right now we are getting through the second wave, and hopefully we will be out of it soon. And then people are talking about the third wave maybe coming sometime
Right.
later. Don't know about it. So we have to just wait and watch, Shweta, that how things fare up from a COVID point of view. But one thing is for sure is that last year, when there was a lockdown, there was a fear in the mind of the people. We have seen the business coming down to 60%, 70%. Now the situation has improved a lot. In the second wave, we have seen partially things going down, but not to the extent which we have seen earlier. So
Right.
what we feel is that now people have taken this in their stride. Obviously, we have to keep all the precautions, but that fear or that kind of psychological impact which was there earlier, now we are coming out of it. And once the vaccine is done, hopefully, as government is announcing that by December this year, hopefully they will be able to do it. So I think then things will start becoming normal. But we have to wait and watch how things move from a third phase point of view, from a vaccination point of view, and from a psychological point of view. So, but I am hopeful, Shweta, that this second wave has not impacted us that way, the way it has impacted in non-COVID last year.
Right.
And going forward, things will more or less become normal. And even if this third wave happens or anything happens, we are hopeful that things will be more or less normal for us.
Correct, correct. So the other thing which remained a focus during this COVID period was, digitalization. So what kind of digital initiatives has Metropolis adopted for seamless operations, and what has been the impact of these on the company's performance?
Yeah, so I think digital is the way to go. And obviously digitization was always happening. It's not that we were not doing digitization earlier, but I think the situation has created a scenario where we have to really go very fast on it.
Correct.
So if I look at last 1.5 years, we have created a lot of platforms which has really helped the team and the customers at large to connect with us. So we have gone, the lead generation has gone almost 10 to 12x for us in the last 1 year. So that is how it has moved. And we have created platforms like we have created a home service platform where you have a seamless start to or end, where you can book the visit, people can come to your house, you can pay online, and you can do the testing. So this kind of platform has been created, which was earlier also there, but we have now taken it to the next level. Home visit has been one of the area where we have really done well last year. As we spoke, we have doubled the revenue, more than doubled the revenue, and as we speak, we are now trying to expand this from 120 cities, 130 cities which we are operating today to almost 200 to 250 cities in next 2 years time. So that is the way we are looking forward. And obviously, if you have to do this, the only thing which will help us is getting in system right, getting the digitization right. And there are a lot of other platforms which we have operating as of now. Like for example, the partner portal is one which has really helped us a lot to connect with our partners. Then there is a MetroBot, which is a doctor platform where we connect with the doctor can connect with the patient. So that is one thing which we have launched, which is really helping us a lot, and doctors are appreciative of it. Then the home visit app, which we have launched, and we have now launched a new avatar altogether. It has a lot of other features as well. So I think these are the initiatives which we are taking, and we are also looking at the larger universe where we feel that there are a lot of things changing right now in the industry. A lot of aggregators are coming in between, and they are trying to create a scenario where they can acquire customer. But obviously they are more getting into the wellness than illness. And illness is something which you cannot get in one day, because that requires a lot of confidence building, a lot of scientific image, and a lot of hand holding, and a lot of faith in the mind of doctors and in the mind of the patient. So I think that is something which is a big area and which is not very easy to really get into. And a lot of people have tried and failed, which we have seen in last so many years. So from a digital point of view, Shweta, we are looking at this space very closely. We know that this is one area where we have to be up to the mark. We cannot be lagged behind. We may, in fact, have to be, way ahead of others so that we can leverage the situation. And obviously, we have done a lot of things in 1 year, last 1 year, and you will hear a lot of good initiative coming again in next 1 year. So that is how we are placed. We in fact have a chief marketing officer who is in place now, who has come from Uber. And he is a very specialized person to look into the B2B scenario, B2C scenario. So we are very excited about things which are happening, and we are hopeful that we will be able to really harness this change which is happening right now in the whole universe.
Correct. So, Mr. Agarwal, before I end, I would just want your views on the competitive intensity in the Indian diagnostic industry, particularly the aggressive discounting-led pricing strategy from some of the online diagnostic aggregator startups.
So basically, there are three kind of scenario. If you look at, one is that obviously we are some 3-4 organized player, national player are there. Then there are regional player. Then there are a lot of small labs which are there. In every nook and corner of the country. If you look at from that landscape, the organized, obviously there is no formal numbers to it, Shweta, but I think organized is still 10 to 12% of the total pie. So 90% of the pie is unorganized. So there is so much of scope, to really look at this unorganized sector and see how can we harness that sector either through organic growth or inorganic growth. So I think that is one area where there is a absolutely clean field which we can go and conquer. So there is no dearth of opportunities there. I think there is a lot of opportunities. So that is one area which we are looking at. And obviously the competition when it comes to us, it is more to do with the local labs rather than the national player, because national player are more concentrated on their areas, and wherever they are competing with us in our main areas, we are competing each other in more to do with B2B, not in the B2C segment. So B2C segment, when you look at, we are more fighting with the local labs rather than fighting with the national players or regional players. So that is how we look at it. From an aggregator point of view, when you ask, I think that is one area, again, I said earlier also that they are more into wellness, because the illness segment is something which is very niche and where it takes a lot of time. Metropolis has been working for the last 40 plus years. And that is the reason why it has been able to create such kind of impact and image in the mind of the consumers and the doctors. So it's not that easy to build up. Everybody, you have those instruments where you can check your pressure or something in that home, but you don't feel comfortable because you feel that maybe you're not up to the mark. And same thing happens with this aggregator also. When they give the test result or something, how much of confidence you have on them, or how much of confidence the doctor has on them, and how much of scientific way of testing they are adopting or something like that. So that is something, they are basically commoditizing the whole thing. So that is how it looks like. But obviously we are not leaving this segment. We are not leaving this just like that, and we are not complacent about it. We feel that this is one area where we have to involve ourselves. We have to participate, and as I said, through digital platform, through other means, we are trying to see what best we can do in this space as well.
Right, sir. So we just got to understand the entire diagnostic center and your views through this conversation. So thank you, Mr. Agarwal. It was indeed a very, very insightful session today. Thank you for taking the time out for us.
Thanks, Shweta.